Hello, everybody. All right, so of course we're gonna welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good start to their week. I did send out the invite to Rick this morning, but as it would appear, he's not here yet. We'll give him a few minutes before we get started. I hope everybody's having a good. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the show last night, in which I went over kind of a scripted draft, whatever you want to call it, that I kind of put together. I've put together over the years, in terms of something I may consider trying to make. I was initially thinking of making it into anime, make it into a manga or comic. Depending on how things go here. Did actually work on it a little bit more today. Did write out another chapter to the story. And I think I was able to finally figure out how, if I do move forward and put it together and all that, publish and all that. I think I got the chapter breakdowns kind of thought out. Anyways, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, as I said, we're just going to give it a few minutes to give people a chance to come in. So, I hope everybody, as I said, having a good start to their week. Um, let's see now. Just sending out a few more little reminders here before we get started. See if we can attract some more people here. Let's see. All right, so let's see. Alrighty then. So I sent out some more invites. Let's see. All right, so now I can see we're just past three, coming up on 3 minutes 20 seconds. So guess I'll talk about a little bit about what's on tap for tonight. So I'm gonna go over 4 articles from Bleeding Fool tonight. 3 kind of animated related, and the other comics related. So I kind of heard a little bit about this the other day in passing, but apparently there's some new Gumby series that are being developed. One for kids and one for adults. They're being actually produced together, believe it or not. So that's going to be interesting to look over. Um, of course, I just hope that they wouldn't like try to do a whole lot of woke stuff in it, but knowing how things are today, that's probably just what it's gonna be. So, let's see. Also, Plankton, villain difficult box office. Now, also the other in the fourth article we're gonna go over will be a kind of a comics related article as from the Vancouver Comic Fest. Um, the Vancouver Comic Fest. Apparently, they've had to apologize to an Israeli artist who they, I guess, had. Well, yeah. I guess I should go grab that real quick. Go look at that real quick and read the headline. Read the headline rather than just try to do it straight from memory here. Not that my memory is all that bad. I still get the majority of the points, as it were. But You never know. So the fourth article will cover, apologizing for banning Jewish creator for IDF services. So we'll look at that as well. And I know that was an Avi. Article. So I did look into that a bit, but as I said, we will just giving people a chance to get in here, see if Rick pops in. Um, and I know we're at the 6 minute mark now. So alright, so yeah, okay, I'm gonna try one last time, see if I can reach out to a few more people who might be interested. Let's see now. All right. So with that, let's see now. So again, just one last friendly reminder before we get into the material here. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started on the articles here? Let's go ahead and get started on checking out some of these articles. All right, so here we go. All right, so new Gumby Kids series being produced alongside an adult geared series. Article by Mandy Parker, published June 9th, which of course was yesterday. There's, I guess, some of the animation for this new series. Of course, the Gumby series that I think many of us probably saw growing up may have been either the original from back in the late '60s that was more or less a claymation series. You know, clay. You know, clay. Clay. Hey, Rick. Oh,
Hey, sorry I'm late. I was playing a
no
game
problem.
lost
Yeah, I
track
think
of
maybe
time.
you lost some time there, but I just got started with the article, but I can pause that for a moment. Um, if you want to do an intro real quick and introduce yourself to everybody.
Well,
And of
of course, I'm
uh,
Rick Piper, Press Comics, and well, I do comics and a whole bunch of stuff. I have a YouTube channel here on YouTube, and I will put a link to my latest video, which I just published like this second. I meant to publish it a little earlier, but again, Mike, forgot about it was uploading with playing a game and all that. So,
oh, I get that. I've been caught like that too. I've been caught like sometimes in that in between. And there's a link, folks, if you want to check that out. It's one of those things that you're caught in between time. It's like you basically done everything. You're pretty much ready to go, but it's still early. So you got to figure out how you're going to use your time. So what you do, you just start playing a game to kind of keep your mind active, and then you just got to be careful that you don't get so mesmerized in the game that it's like, okay, it's like 5:15 one moment, and it's like 5:55 the next. Go, oh man, I gotta get going here.
Yeah, yeah. I looked down and I saw, oh, 9:05. Oh, crap! I'm supposed to be on with Mike.
So, anyways, all right. So
Yeah,
there's there.
and then I was out today doing some painting, so I had my camera all not hooked up or my mic not hooked up. So it's like I've got to hook that all up too at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, I did actually write up another chapter today from my story, the story I shared last night. So I
Oh,
got
that's
that.
good.
So yeah, I'm a little closer there. I think there's going to be one more chapter, then I'll be able to be ready to transfer it, type it out on a Word. But anyways, so with that, and if you haven't already, Rick, of course, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see where you get some more friendly people in here to engage.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what.
all right, so tonight we're gonna go through 4 articles, all from Bleeding Full. I just started on the first one. 3 of them animated related, and then 1 comics related. There was so apparently they're producing 2 new Gumby series. One that's directed for kids, the other that's directed towards adults. That's the one I was just starting to read as you got in here. And then also, apparently, the SpongeBob SquarePants villain Plankton's getting his own Netflix series or Netflix film. And the Garfield movie did apparently well, despite um, I don't know, I can't even remember what was said, but and then there was also the other article, the comic where Vancouver Comic Fest apologized for banning a Jewish creator for IDF work. So anyway, and as a friendly reminder to everybody, of course, if you haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with all that being said, let me bring back up the what we were just reading, what article we were just going over.
Yeah. So you said this is supposed to be the one for kids or one for adults? It looks more kiddish to me.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. I think the one apparently I think the one they're focusing on here, or at least this one, probably from the kid version, but new Gumby Kid series being produced alongside an adult geared series.
Okay.
Article by Mandy Parker, published June 9th, which is yesterday. So let's get into the article here, and that will.
I know my mom used to watch this as a kid. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, one of the things that I was pointing out earlier that many of us have probably seen, like the first version from back in the 60s, that was more of a claymation series.
Yeah, and I've barely seen that myself.
Yeah. Well, that originally, and then okay, so it originally came out in, like, I think 1967, 68, around there. And there was the new Gumby Adventures that came out in the late 80s, which I think was just a redressing of that series. But anyways, let's get into the article here. Gumby is getting closer to his official comeback. Fox's Bento Box Entertainment is developing an animated kids version of the show, as well as an adult animated iteration based on the classic character, after it acquired the rights to the universe in 2022. Gumby Kids comes from Deaky Deek, okay, who wrote on the first season of Disney's Mickey Mouse shorts, and was head writer for all 3 seasons of Netflix's The Cuphead Show. The Kids project is being taken out to the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, the major animation market, which takes place next week. In the show, Gumby is a friendly green shape-shifting architect and city planner for Gumtasia. a new city open to all outcasts, misfits, and dreamers from nearby fantastical lands. Determined to build a Gumtasia that works for everybody, Gumby often winds up in the center of conflict and chaos, but nobody is more adept at adapting than a shapeshifter. Wow, this is a very lucky thing I did decide to do 4 articles in, because this one very short. That was the
Yeah. It sounds like they're giving it a lot more continuity than the original had. Not that I know a lot about the original, a lot more backstory and stuff. And like I said, I don't know a lot about the
well,
original.
yeah, like a lot of cartoons that came out in the Golden Age and early Silver Age. Um, they were more episodic in nature. They weren't as serial.
Yeah,
That, I mean, you don't really start. You now with some of the more adult animation series, like, well, even with the Simpsons, you could argue is more episodical, because I mean, how long can Bart be 10 years old, right?
apparently over 30 years, over
Yeah,
40, I think.
no kidding.
That's the longest child. That's the longest somebody's ever been 10 years. 10
Oh,
years
I
old.
don't know about that. You could argue that Ash is kind of up there too. Well, Ash probably comes in a distant second. 25 years.
But is he supposed to be 10 or older?
Who, Ash?
Yeah,
Well, they keep saying he's 10, and then I think some people made the argument that, well, he's probably 11 as of probably finally does supposedly turn 11 as of the as
okay,
of
because
the
he doesn't look
I'm,
10
I'm
in
trying to
that
I'm trying to
series.
think as of the, it's not Diamond and Pro, not Cinema, the series that's just before Sun and Moon. I just finished watching it too. Just yeah, I can't
Yeah,
think of it. But um anyways, getting back
yeah.
to the article. Oh, wait,
There was only a couple minor things near the end that sounded, like it could be weary of it, that series.
well, yeah,
Uh,
the way, yeah, I saw that too. In other words, that maybe, you're talking about in the last paragraph that here, let's
yeah,
go down in that last paragraph where, in the show, Gumby is a friendly green shape-shifting architect and city planner for Camtasia, a new city open to all outcasts, misfits, and dreamers from nearby fantastical lands, determined to build a Camtasia that works for everybody.
yeah. That is what.
Gumby
Oh,
often winds up in the center of conflict and chaos, but nobody is more adept at adapting than a shapeshifter. Yeah, I kind of picked up on that too. Rick.
yeah. And hello, good night, Spoon. Good night, Spoon's here and says hi. Hi, here. I'm Dad.
Hey, Spoon. Hey, good night, Spoon. Welcome to the show. Before I go on to the next article here, I do want, so good night, Spoon. You asked me something last night, and I couldn't quite answer it then. So you were wondering, well, what kind of conflicts would my character be overcoming in the story? Well, a lot of what I built upon in the first part of the story, there was more internal conflicts, right? More the idea, the id versus the ego, the good angel on one shoulder, the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other. The idea of the too good to be true versus the opportunity of a lifetime, that which are more internal conflicts. It's more the kind of the back and forth weighing on your mind when something is, when a chance encounter comes to you, and you're trying to figure out, or should you or shouldn't you? Should you move forward with this or not? That was kind of the conflict there that I was pointing out in the early part of the story there. I don't know if you had a chance to go back and read the very beginning of the story, the portions that you missed, but or watch through the portion of the video that you missed, but hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more. And I did actually write out the third chapter today, so or the next part of the story, as it were. So I do, was able, as I said, to get some inspiration and stuff. So, anyways,
that's good.
Hopefully that answers your questions. Good night, Spoon. And of course, if you haven't already, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. And of course, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, continuing on here to the next article. All right. All right. SpongeBob SquarePants villain Plankton gets his own Netflix movie. Article by Todd Fisher, published June 9th, 2024. So yesterday. The egotistical, aggressive, evil, and power-hungry planktonic copod Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants fame is getting his own Netflix movie as unveiled as part of the streamer's next on Netflix animation press drop. I guess there he is right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, nothing new there from the comment section as of yet. As said, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, in the Dave Needham directed animated feature, Plankton's world is flipped upside down when his plan for world domination is thwarted. Plankton runs the Chum Bucket restaurant alongside Karen, okay, a waterproof computer that doubles as his sidekick and wife, okay. EPs are Mark, EP as in executive producers, I guess, are Mark Ceccarelli and Vincent Waller. The story and screenplay are by Mr. Lawrence, with co-scribes Taz and Chris Viscardi. The voice cast is Mr. Lawrence, Jill Talley, Tom Kenny, a pretty well-known voice in Tom Kenny and Bill Fagerbakke, who are known for their voice. Let's see, Tom Kenny, of course, I believe he is the Professor Utonium in the Powerpuff Girls, among as well as the mayor in that. Bill Fagerbakke, who of course in SpongeBob is, I believe, the Starfish character, as well as Broadway from the original Gargoyle series back in the 90s. Let's see, Carolyn Lawrence, who I would assume is Mr. Lawrence's wife, I guess. Clancy Brown, who of course famous for voicing Lex Luthor in the DCAU DC animated series. Of course, starting with Superman the animated series, as well as reprising that role throughout, in
Justice League.
Well, Justice League Unlimited. He even guest starred in the crossover episode, The World's Finest, with Batman the animated series as well. So, and Roger Bumpass. Well, I guess it depends on how you want to pronounce it. Bumpass or Bumpass.
Either way, I don't think it sounds good.
Yeah, no kidding.
I feel sorry for him.
I think bump ass so probably sounds worse. he probably doesn't care for that aspect. Bum pass or Plankton the movie washes ashore on Netflix 2025. So that one was another short one. But then again, with releases like this, these ones are going to be pretty quick
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, and there's not much to say or controversial. Usually these are,
It
like
just
I'm not.
this is what it is. What it is. This is when it's out. Go check it out if you want. Basically.
Yeah, like I was a little bit. I'm not really a big what's SpongeBob fan at all. So
Well, I've never really watched it either, but I hardly ever watch. Like, I have at times in the past, flipped on like Rugrats here and there, and All Grown Up, but that's really about the only one that really ever caught my attention there. But it's not like I really made any time to sit there and actually watch it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But with that being said, now on to the third of our four articles. Is where we're at the 26-minute mark. I think we're making some good, decent time here at least. Um,
yeah. With me being a bit late and all that, that took up a little bit of time.
the Garfield movie makes a profit despite difficult box office. Article by Avi Green. So this is one of two articles from Avi that we're doing tonight.
Oh,
Published June 10th, which is today. Look at that lasagna.
yeah. This was a good movie. I liked it. I went and seen it. Me and my cousin went to see it. Goodnight Spoon says, I don't think we need any more reboots. I would agree. Although I don't think what they're talking about for the last couple are reboots.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless of course you're possibly talking about the Gumby one that we were talking about earlier,
Oh yeah,
but
Gumby
they're
is
doing two series based on Gumby, one directed towards kids and another apparently directed towards adults. So,
yeah, we don't know how those two are gonna differ.
yeah,
It sort of sounds like what they were trying to do with the Masters of the Universe thing, where they brought out the the what was supposed to be a sequel to the original by Kevin
oh
Smith,
yeah,
which
like with
was
yeah, with Kevin. You were talking about Kevin Smith's project.
yeah, which of course it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really Masters of the Universe, in my opinion. And then of course there was the reimagination, which more people like than Kevin Smith's version.
Yeah, a reimagining, is that what the word you're looking for?
Yeah, well, reimagining. I think that's what I. Well, not for Kevin
You
Smith,
said
but for the.
you said reimagination, so I figured you probably
Oh,
meant reimagining or reimaging.
yeah, something along that lines.
Yeah. Anyway, so according to so this is Avi speaking now. According to Deadline, it looks like while box office intake has been quite slow of late, the Garfield movie has proven to be financially successful as a result of its global growth so far. Now, it does like what I've noticed the last couple of months here, at least in terms of the niche world, things have been kind of slow the last couple of months. I mean, now in
Yeah,
anime, it's not that hard to believe because in anime, the spring release season opens up in April. That's when you get all the anime releases, and then May is the middle of that season, and June, by the end of June, we'll probably start like seeing
yeah,
seeing the series come to an end a lot of times. So,
yeah.
anyways, getting
Well,
uh,
the other thing I'd say too is that this is the beginning of the summer season, so you have your first three or four films coming out all at the same time. So Garfield is competing. Garfield is, yes, popular, but is he more popular than the other things that have come out at the same time or within a week of him? Either way.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. But let's see what this article, as they're now referencing the Deadline article here. Let's see what they're saying about it. And again, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the the best of our ability. So, from the Deadline article here. Meanwhile, Sony's The Garfield movie is holding at number 2 with an estimated $10.3 million for third weekend. Domestic cum $51.5 million and global $161.9 million. Given those low family ticket prices, admissions for Garfield this weekend outstripped Furiosa again, with 1.3 million admissions to 700,000 submissions. Now, mind you, too, Furiosa has not been. I've seen. Granted, I haven't looked at a lot of the news coverage on that because it's not really. I don't know of
Yeah.
it. But from what I understand, it's not really winning people over.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the trailers for going to see other movies. It's semi interesting, but of course it's doing the whole woman thing with the Mad Max thing. It's not a
Oh yeah,
reboot, but it's an offshoot. So
they're gender swapping a character of an already established franchise.
well, no, it's not. This character, as far as I know, is not replacing Mad Max. I think this is in conjunction with is a side character that they created. Uh, but again, it's not appealing to people. It seems all right from the little bit that I've seen of a trailer, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to go see it. Maybe I might go see it on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it didn't interest me enough to. But then again, I'm not a super big Mad Max fan either. So
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, let's continue on with the article here. Then, Garfield's average ticket price was $10.75 versus Furiosa's $15. Paramount's original action comedy, um,
if
if
yeah,
is also enjoying staying power and currently looks to come in at number 3 with 8.5 million.
yeah, and that's another real pretty good movie. I saw it as well. Um, Again, another kids movie. So the kids movie are up there, and like they said that they're getting more people in the seats. It's just that when people are going to see them is when it's cheaper apparently
Yeah.
compared to, and that's probably because they're probably going on the Tuesday. I'm not sure whether you guys have a cheap Tuesday or a cheap day there, but I know we here have a cheap day. And if you're taking a whole family out to the theater, if there's 4 or 5 of you going, you don't want to go when it's more expensive. You want to go when it's cheaper.
Right.
So
yeah, I do know some theaters like the prices might be a little bit cheaper during the week than on the weekend. So that probably plays into it a bit too. Yeah, you're
yeah,
probably right, especially with summer. I mean, well, like here where I live in Southern California, you know, the school year just ended, right?
yeah,
And even though we'll have summer school, or as they're calling it now, expanded learning, um, you're still going to have something. The families that do have kids that aren't going to summer school are going to probably be, looking to do stuff with them during the week and maybe taking them
yeah,
to movies if they
yeah.
can. So
Well, yeah. Well, see, Tuesday nights here or Tuesdays it's cheaper. Like instead of paying $15, you're only paying $10. To go see a movie. So, like if you got a family of 5 to go see it, are you going to pay the $10 per person, or are you going to pay $15 per person?
yeah. All right. So, anyways, let's continue on with the article here. So, this is Avi speaking again here. This part. Yes, a most pleasant surprise. Garfield's latest screen production, this time more animated than the mid 2000s films were, has turned out successful in its own way. Though obviously a shame, moviegoers are discouraged at this point from attending a lot of Hollywood movies because of how pretentiously PC they've become, which thankfully isn't the case here. As the following review by Jim Shembri points out. So this is back from the article. This is from the review of Jim Shembri. Um, as we all should know by now, cartoon feline Garfield, created in 1976 by comic strip artist Jim Davis, an executive producer on the film, his character is characterized by his love of eating and sleeping, his hatred of exercise and healthy living, and his whatever attitude to life in general. All very politically incorrect, especially for a kids' film, given that anything designed for that demographic is supposed to be a delivery vehicle for positive progressive messages as well as entertainment. Okay, so I'm guessing that's his way of saying, well, that's apparently what the studios think that the kids need to be seeing, I guess.
Yeah.
So more sarcastic there. But Disney has proved that forcing this concept can lead to very costly failure. Yep. So what is unalloyed joy? It is um, to see that the creatives behind this wonderful movie, parentheses here, directed by Mark Dindal, have opted quite decisively to preserve all those qualities that have made Garfield an icon of the politically incorrect. Chalk it up to a blow in the culture wars. Yeah, I mean, if Jim Davis, who was the guy who originally created Garfield, is the executive producer on this, I'm sure that he's kind of saying, I'm sure that if people did try to come at him with politically correct stuff, he'd probably tell them, go fly a kite or something like that.
Well, it would be hard to tell, but obviously he wants to keep true to his creation. So,
Right.
some people that, even though that they create it in a certain way, they fall into the trap of getting politically correct. But good thing he hasn't, and he's keeping his character the way that he created his character.
Right. So, anyways, as we continue on here, well, let me just do one quick thing here since apparently nobody's chatting in the chat here. All right. So with that, coming back, so this is obvious speaking again, of course. That could explain why a lot of critics for major newspapers and TV, radio, regrettably hate it, because the animators refuse to follow their PC beliefs. Ironically, even if it did, they'd likely still hate it deliberately and act like they have no idea what could go wrong. If movies are failing, it's because the PC crowd actually wants them to, even as they make themselves look unintelligible for refusing to guess, let alone analyze what's wrong with the script. Which is true.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, for sure.
As for Furiosa, if anyone's interested in knowing what a professional comics writer thinks of modern movie going, oh yeah, I think I heard about this a little bit too. I found Canadian Jim Zub talking all about his and his wife's experience with commercials impeding upon their ability to enjoy the film. Though at this in parentheses here, though at this point, it's apparent not many did regardless.
Did anybody wave back?
No.
Oh, is your cousin coming to see you there, Rick?
Well, she came in the kitchen to get something to drink, and then she asked me whether anybody saw her, and or
Well,
if they could see her.
I was on the other screen there. You know,
Yeah.
I was on the other tab. But
Yeah,
anyways,
and I said they could see her now, and then she was asking me like as she was leaving, did it? I guess she waved. I didn't even know she waved. I was concentrated on what you were doing, and
yeah.
obviously you were concentrated on the article you were reading.
Yeah, well, here's I guess some of the copies of the tweets here from Jim Zub. Stacy and I saw Furiosa tonight before I even get to the movie itself. We had to laugh at the insanity of movie going in 2024. $16 per ticket, regular screen, no AVX, no IMAX. Once the screening time started, there were 15 commercials. Not even movie trailers, just ads. And then he continued here: 13 commercials, 2 movie trailers, 2 movie commercials, 2 more movie trailers, and finally the actual movie. I wonder why people aren't rushing out to the movies. Well, that in of itself could be annoying, but then you go through all that garbage, and then I'm sure then when you get into the movie and you're basically being preached at, that's not going to make you too happy either.
Now, I must say, my experience is not quite that bad. Yes, there's I think 2 or 3 commercials, and then you have 4 or 5, trailers. So, of course, if you get there before the movie starts, there are a lot of commercials. That I can agree. But you're there before the movie starts, so they got to put something up to try and get some extra bucks or whatever.
Yeah. Now, Rick, let me ask you this: Do you know what they did back in the Golden Age? Do you know what they put up before the movie back in the Golden Age?
Oh, well, it depends on when and where, but yeah, there was always a little bit of cartoons beforehand.
Right. It was a combination of cartoons, newsreels, and a travel log. That was usually what they put up back in the Golden Age. It was like cartoons, travel log, and newsreel. This is of course before television, mind you. After the third ad, we started counting, and Stacy made a list on her phone because it was just so ridiculous. I paid a monthly streaming subscription fee worth per person, so you can fire hose ads at me. Nah, you pushed it too far and broke the theater habit for me.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, yeah, I get that you can see these on, your streaming service, a couple months after they're out of theaters or just as they're out of theaters. But there is a lot big difference. There is a way bigger difference between seeing something on the big screen in a theater than seeing it on your TV.
All right. So Jordan Miller is a hell of a director, but the curse of prequelness haunted this film, robbing it of stakes and tension at every turn. Few moments spark, but it struggles to find its own space and feels really uneven. Let's see. The only way to make prequels work is to change the foundation we thought we knew, give the audience a surprise, or vastly broaden the scope and enrich the characters. You can't just connect already connected dots with characters we know are in zero danger. It's narratively inert.
I don't think you can't do it, but it's a lot harder.
All right, so Wow, so even this left-wing writer really found that bad with the commercials piling on. Huh? Reminds me of an old Mad satire from the 1980s at the time commercial TV was going out of their way to interrupt movies ad nauseum. And I did see a few minutes ago that it was probably 40 minutes. We were 40 minutes into this, so this will probably be our last article for the night. Maybe I'll just add the fourth one to tomorrow night because we're already at 45 minutes here.
Yeah.
So this article took longer, as obvious usually took longer than the other two. So, anyways, toward the
TV
end
was
of the
going.
infinite advertising. But as unfortunately could be expected, Zub won't ask whether the film's impact was dampened by the PC notion of a sexless girl boss. All right, let's see. John Nolte comments like this. First, the $200 million act of stupidity that dropped a sexless girl into a Mad Max movie flopped on Memorial Day weekend. Okay, so that's what it was. Then Furiosa was responsible for driving the Memorial Day weekend box office to a 26-year low. Then, without any new competition, Furiosa came in third place in week 2 behind two children's movies, Garfield and If. Mad Max was a sexless girl boss, with a sexless girl boss, is dying at the domestic box office. In parentheses here, still hasn't topped $50 million after 2 weekends. Oh boy, that is dragging.
Yeah. But I must say, kids' movies will always do better in a sense, at least attendance wise, and probably money wise, because you know, if I was to go see Mad Max, if I'm in a family, if I had a family and all that, I could go see Mad Max, just me and my wife, or me and my girlfriend, or whatever, or you and your husband, or whatever. But if it's a kids movie, you're taking your kids. Thus, that's 1 to 2 more people in the
Right.
seats.
That's a family. Usually
Uh,
with the
uh,
average family being like 4 or 5 people. The husband and wife, and usually 1 to 2 kids, maybe 3 at the most. You
and
know.
then if you have kids, you're more likely to go see that kids movie than the Mad Max movie or the movie like that,
Right.
because you don't have time necessarily to go to.
The kids movies or the family oriented movies, obviously.
Yeah, you don't, but you're gonna go see the family oriented movie, kids movie, because you don't have time to go see a movie. You and your wife or girlfriend don't
Yeah.
usually have time to go see a movie by yourselves unless you're
Yeah.
paying somebody to
Yeah.
watch the
So
kids or something.
dying at the worldwide box office in parentheses only 114 million after 2 weekends unparenthesed, and now we're told this bomb is killing off an entire movie theater, which is probably true because if that's your primary movie and there's no alternative, why go to the movie theater? If the movie theater is serving you garbage, why are you going to go wait around in garbage, right? Um, Quote, Stephen Goddard, the manager of Emerald Cinema Complex in brackets here, Emerald, Queensland.
Which I think is in Australia.
Yeah, yeah. Sold just 222 tickets to Furiosa during opening week. So opening week, 7 days there, 222 tickets. So 222 divided by 7, that's 31. So that's basically an average of just over like almost 32, almost 32 people a day, basically,
Yeah,
into a movie theater. I mean that kind of that I mean it's staggering. I mean you go into a movie theater, you go into you
yeah.
know,
Well, it depends on what you mean, but what you mean by opening week. Opening week could just mean the weekend because technically Friday and Saturday is one week, and then Sunday is another week. So it depends on how you want to see that. I get where you're going, but it could just be between 2 days, maybe three if you include Sunday, or it could be the 7 days. But either way, it's not
well,
really
okay,
that
even
good.
if you're just talking about opening weekend, if they're talking about opening weekend, which would usually be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is when most people do go to movies, 222 divided by 3, then that's divided by 3, that's 74 people per day, and that's still bad. That's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
kind of bad. 70. I mean, most theaters, what usually, the average theater, what has, 150, 200 seats in it, and you're not even filling up half of the theater most of the time.
yeah. Now the only thing that gets me is he says this could the these are disastrous numbers that could spell the end of his business. I don't know where Emerald Queenland is. I don't know how big this theater is. You know, um, we're assuming that this is as big as a normal theater that you or me might go to. It could be a small theater, so this could be fuller than what we think. And frankly, if this one bad movie is going to spell his business, the end of his business was already in trouble.
Yeah. Well, let's continue on with the article here. The Daily Mail reported he says that these, quote, disastrous numbers could spell the end of his 20-year business. Okay. So he explained that a movie people actually want to see, um, quote, would usually sell 1,050 tickets in a week. So if we're looking at a week as 7 days, then 1,050 divided by 7, that's what? Let's see, 150,
Yeah, approximately.
like a sellout, right? Let's
Yeah,
just say that is a sellout for the theater, so 150 seats. So for a week, right? And we said 30. I said basically about 32 for a day.
yeah,
32 of 150 seats. That's just barely over 20% right there.
yeah.
That's just
It's
barely
about
that's
one.
just barely over 1/5 of its capacity. If we're
Yeah, but
totally.
as I said, this one movie, his is just because this one movie does that bad, then that obviously means it's he's more in trouble overall. It's not this movie that's doing him bad. It's got to be a consistent thing, and it's probably a bunch of things that done this to his business. COVID,
Yeah.
with all
Well,
that shut down and all that, and then he's probably not in a big area for a lot of people to come to either.
I think, yeah, Queensland, I think, is one of the more. Queensland, I think, if I understand correctly, is much like
A
the Northwest
territory.
Territories, up where you're, up over your neck of the woods there. But in this case, I think Queensland, instead of being covered with ice, is probably covered more like with sand. It's more of a tropical area as opposed to being a ice area like Northwest Territories. But anyway, so he, quote, will probably shut down, unquote. Quote, back in 2006 to 2009, unquote, he said the top movies sold 4,500 to 5,000 seats. We did 66,000 seats, all through that period. We will do probably 30,000 seats this year. if we are lucky, unquote. Quote, we will probably shut down, quite truthfully, unquote, he added, quote, and I know that Mount Isa, in brackets, cinema, is in the same boat. I've spoken to them, and they are looking at it, unquote.
Yeah. So, it isn't this one movie that's doing it to him. It's just the whole business as a whole, what's happening. And part of that is, COVID. And there's the factor of that these movies are, a lot of them are becoming crap.
Mhm.
There's more than one thing in this. It isn't this one movie that's shutting him down. It's more than one
But
movie.
what it may be doing, Rick, it may be hastening the process.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going on the idea, okay, well, if the movie industry is causing you to not do as well, and let's say you're on your death knell, as it were, and maybe in a normal slow period, maybe your death knell is 6 months. You got 6 months, before you're forced to shut down, right? Well,
Yeah.
maybe if you look at it this way, maybe a crappy movie like Furiosa, your death knell isn't 6 months. Maybe it's more like 2 months.
Or
You get what
5
I'm saying?
months. Yeah. It speeds things up a little bit.
Yeah, but but anyways, getting back to the article, of course.
But also sort of quickly, I did look up Queensland, Emerald in Queensland, and it was not quite smack dab in the middle of Australia, but it's a fair way out from the shore. I doubt it has a major population. It's probably got a population of like 10,000 or something like that people.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Uh,
I'd have to look it up more, but I just
well,
figure,
I mean, it wouldn't take that long to go to Wikipedia here. Let's see.
yeah. Well, you continue reading the article. I'll look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. Emerald is a rural town and locality in central Highlands region, Queensland, Australia. Um, in the 2021 census, the locality of Emerald had a population of 14,996 people.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's okay. It's not quite in the center, but it is more towards the center of according to this.
Queensland. Yeah.
Yeah, um, density 24,392 square kilometers, established in 1879. Um, elevation 189 meters or 620 feet. Area 235.9 square miles. So the density is 83.175 square miles. The area
Yeah.
is 235.9 square miles.
Yeah.
Um,
And sorry if I'm getting too involved in this part of it, but I think when you choose somewhere like this, it's not like choosing a theater in the middle of New York, or a densely populated area, you know, that's failing.
well, they even acknowledge this is a rural town, so
Yeah.
obviously the rural town here is going to be like it's going to be a lot smaller than you know.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
let's
Let's
get
try and
back
finish this article.
right. You produce a Mad Max movie without Mad Max, and then instead of making the character of Furiosa a hot babe with some sex appeal, filmmakers took a lovely actress with sex appeal, shaved her head, and gave her the body of a 14-year-old boy. Who wants to watch that? No kidding. No kidding. Oh boy.
Uh, from the ads I saw, I don't think it was quite that bad, but she did not look that appealing. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Um
Avi.
Yeah, we're back to Avi here. So this is Avi speaking, not me. At this point, what they're doing is humiliating women. Also lost in all this junkyard mountain is the question whether the filmmakers have any creative freedom allowed by the studios. One day we may discover they no longer did by the time such a film was made. Alas, liberals like Zub show no interest in commenting on such challenging issues regarding artistic freedom, even in comicdom. And then we wonder how the comic medium is collapsing along with the movie making. It's great. The Garfield movies actually succeeded in its own way, but to be sure, depending on how you view the issue, even more adult movies have to be able to avoid being PC if the filmmakers really want to draw in audiences. And today's filmmakers clearly don't have what it takes to accomplish all that. All right, then. So there we go. And then, as I said, that was going to be the last article we're going to do now because we were running a little long here. That one took a little longer than I thought it would. But we still got through 3 articles. So
yeah, that's good.
So, anyways, with that being said, now it's time. Now we're going to go ahead and get right into the wrestling wrap up. We got some news coming out of course, TNA, WWE, and AEW, as of course, WWE, the NXT developmental brand had its Battleground pay per view last night, in which you did feature some crossovers from TNA, which again, WWE now seems to be more willing to work with other companies as they had, as before when Vince McMahon was still running the company, they were not. So first off, we're going to go with more in chronology. So let's go back to Thursday night, the TNA Impact from Thursday night. This past Thursday, of course, they aired the Impact's 20th anniversary. It was the 20th anniversary of the premiere of Impact Wrestling, TNA Impact Wrestling. That came up this last Thursday, as they're, of course, getting ready for their Against All Odds pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. So at the 20th anniversary show, the show opened up with a battle of big men in which Jake Something defeated Khan. After Khan tried to snap Jake Something's neck after the match, the neck snap, Eric Young came out to make the save and then gave a speech about the 20 years that Impact had been on the air. Now here in the States, of course, it's currently on Access TV. It's been on TNN before, the Nashville Network. It's been on Spike TV. I don't know what it's on up there in Canada for you guys, but
and I don't know either.
Yeah, Giselle in a women's match, Giselle Shaw defeated Shazza McKenzie in 3:21 in her first match in a few months. She was taking some time off. The tag team Speedball Mountain of Speedball Mike Daly and Mustache Mountain Trent Seven defeated the team of TNA X Division champion Mustafa Ali and his campaign manager, as it were, Campaign Singh, ahead of Ali's X Division title defense against Trent Seven coming up this Sunday at Against All Odds. Defending the TNA Knockouts World title ahead of her, of course, which was ahead of the her shot at the NXT title yesterday. We'll get to that in a moment. Jordan Grace successfully defended the Knockouts World title against one half of the Hex tag team, Allison Kay, after previously beating the other half of the Hex, Marty Bell, last week. A digital media title was put on the line by Laredo Kid as he was defeated by AJ Francis. And in a match in which had Frankie Kazarian won, he would have gotten a shot at Moose for the TNA World title. Nick Nemeth had defeated Frankie Kazarian, but that led to an attack by the system of TNA World Champion Moose, TNA World Tag Team Champions, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, and one half of the Women's Knockout Tag Team Championship, Alicia Edwards, Eddie Edwards' wife. Of course, a lot of this was setting up for what was to come on this Sunday, which is the Against All Odds pay-per-view coming up this Sunday from Cicero, Illinois, at the Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois, to be aired on TNA Plus. Matches thus far announced for the show include a tag team match to open up the show. The Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz will be taking on the unlikely tandem of Steve Macklin and Mike Santana, who upon Santana's initial return to TNA after having been in AEW for the last few years, had initially been feuding with Macklin until you kind of remember the old saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," kind of bit.
Yeah.
As the Rascals were attacking both Macklin and Santana, which has now brought those two together to face them off in a match here at Against All Odds. Jordan Grace has issued an open challenge to defend her Knockout World title at this Sunday's Against All Odds pay-per-view, coming off her loss to Roxanne Perez. We'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. The system, as we said, the duo of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers will be defending the tag team titles. Alicia Edwards in their corner against the Nemeth brothers, Nick and Ryan Nemeth. Many people would remember Nick Nemeth as former WWE superstar Dolph Ziggler. As previously mentioned, of course, Mustafa Ali defends the TNA X Division title against Trent Seven. And Moose will be defending the TNA World title against Matt Hardy, the recently returned Matt Hardy to TNA after his time in AEW. And now go over some of the stuff that happened in AEW over the weekend on the Rampage, which aired on Friday night, followed by Collision, which aired on Saturday. We will get to that here in a moment here. Let's see. On Friday, okay, so I guess we're going to let's see now. Let's see. That's probably what's going on. So that's saying the signal's down a bit. I'm not freezing, but all right, let's try that again.
I would hope you're not being freezing in California, especially in LA area.
Yeah. Well, you know what I meant by it when I said freezing in this case.
Yes, I do. I'm just joking, of course.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways,
trying to make it funny.
Yeah. On Friday's Rampage, of course, the show opened up with Penta El Zero Miedo defeating the Butcher in just over 9 minutes. They claimed in their first tag team action in quite some time. They'd been participating more in trios matches with Billy Gunn, their manager. They defeated the team of Hunter Gray and Parvitz in just under a minute. Gates of Agony defeated Private Party. The Bang Bang Gang of the Gun Club, Austin Colton Gunn and Juice Robinson defeated the three-man team of Caleb Crush, Tyler Payne, and Chris Wilde. The main event saw Mina Shirakawa defeat Serena Deeb in a one-on-one match between two women who have been the most recent number one contenders to the AEW Women's World Title. Serena Deeb just getting her shot at Double or Nothing about a week ago, and then Mina Shirakawa getting the next shot at the title coming up at Forbidden Door at the in a few more weeks here at the end of the month here. So that was of course what happened on Friday on Rampage, and then on Saturday on Collision, on Saturday's Collision show, the show opened up with a classic tag team battle between two members of the Blackpool Combat Club, in this case Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, who's also the reigning Ring of Honor Pure Champion, taking on the team of FTR of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. The match ended in a time limit draw, as what usually happens in a lot of these cases when you have two great teams, two very good, competitive, strong teams, and they go to a time limit draw. They want 5 more minutes to try to really settle it. But unfortunately, they were interrupted by a representative of the Elite coming out, namely Brian Cutler, coming out to basically rain on their parade, saying, well, the contract said 20 minutes, not 25, not 30, 20 minutes. Being a real stickler for the rules and all that, and which led to them jumping on him basically. And there was a mutual sign of respect between the two teams as shown in the ring. Then the next match saw Chris Statlander defeat Robin Renegade in a little over a minute and a half. Then you saw Dustin Rhodes defeat Johnny TV in about 9.5 minutes. In the aftermath of the match, of course, Dustin really had a very hard-hitting promo for Jack Perry, who he'll be facing on this Wednesday's Dynamite in a couple days here, as part of the qualifying matches for the 4-way ladder match to fill the vacancy of the TNT title, as it was vacated by Adam Copeland after his match against Malachi Black at Double or Nothing, after having broken his leg during the match. The premier athletes of Arya Davari and Tony Nese defeated the team of Trip Jordy and Dante Leon. In a non-title match, AEW Women's World Title, Tony Storm with Luther and Mariah May in her corner defeated Lady Frost. Daniel Garcia took down Tate Mayfairs, and in the main event, Orange Cassidy defeated Kyle O'Reilly. Now we'll talk more about what's going to happen on tomorrow night's. We'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about what's coming up on Dynamite probably tomorrow night. So with that, now going back to Sunday here, going back to the WWE's Battleground pay-per-view that happened last night. The show opened up with the crowning of the first ever WWE NXT Women's North American title, as in a 6-way ladder match, Lonnie Jordan outlasted 5 other women, including Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Michin, and Sol Ruka, become the new 6-way to become the new NXT Women's North American title. Of course, the NXT Battleground event was happening at the UFC Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. The NXT Tag Team Champions, Axiom and Nathan Frazier, fended off the challenge of the OC duo of Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. In an NXT Underground match, Lola Vice defeated Shayna Baszler in 10-17. Ova Femi retained the NXT North American title in a triple threat match over Joe Coffey and Wes Lee. In the aforementioned NXT Women's title match, Roxanne Perez, basically fended off the challenge of TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace, in which you did see some shenanigans. In it was Gail Kim was seen in the crowd and also there's a little bit of a scoop up as NXT talent. I can't even remember her name. NXT talent tried to steal the TNA title, only to be caught up with Ash by Elegance, the former Dana Brooke in NXT, before Jordynne Grace knocked them both out with the title belt, and then ended up losing to Roxanne Perez. And in the main event, Trick Williams retained the NXT title over the debuting Ethan Page, who recently came off of his time in AEW. So, with that being said, that's all we got for you in terms of the wrestling wrap-up. And now, of course, today being Monday, June 10th, 2024. Let's take a look back at this day, Niche history. History! First off, we're going to head back 30 years ago. As on this date, 30 years ago today, as soon as I pull it up here, on this date, 30 years ago today, back in 1994, American animator, film director, screenwriter, and comic writer and artist Jack Hanna passed away at the age of 81. Of course, he was known for his work with Walt Disney Animation Studios and Walter Lyons. I've seen his credit on a number of Woody Woodpecker shorts, as well as some Woody Woodpecker and Chilly Willy and all that. So on this day, 30 years ago today, American animator, film director, screenwriter, comic writer, and artist Jack Hanna passed away at the age of 81.
And wouldn't he been part of a Hanna-Barbera?
No.
Oh, okay.
First off, his name is spelled. He's one of the Hannas who has the H at the end. The Hanna you're talking about, William Hanna, it's Hanna. But this guy
I know.
has Hannah.
Yeah, I know Hanna-Barbera. Hanna from Hanna-Barbera. That Hanna has no H in that, but just with the similar sounding name or almost the same name, I wasn't sure. Maybe thought I'd ask.
So, anyways, now moving ahead, of course, to the next piece in each history, as we move ahead to 2004, which was 20 years ago today. On this day in 2004, Comics Wave released the original video animation Girl Power. Well, what we know here in the West as Girl Power, spelled GRRL Power.
Girl Power.
Known in Japan as Makasete Iruka, was released on this date 20 years ago today. So on this date 20 years ago today, the Comics Wave OVA Girl Power was released in Japan on this date back in 2004. Moving ahead to 2009, on this date in 2009, on this date in 2009. The 30th issue of Batman Confidential went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 2009. It sold for $2.99 with 32 pages. Story was Bad Cop, written by Andrew Kreisberg. You all right there, Rick?
Yeah, just a little bit of a hiccup or whatever.
Yeah. Penciled by Scott McDaniel. Inked by Andy Owens. Lettered by Jared K. Fletcher. And then Ian Laughlin did the coloring. So, 15 years ago today, the 30th issue of Batman Confidential went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 2009. And moving ahead to 2019, which was just 5 years ago today, as on this date 5 years ago today, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the CAP Center in San Jose, California. The show saw in the main event, Kevin Owens defeated Seth Rollins via disqualification with Sami Zayn as the special guest referee. In a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships, the revival of Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, better known to us today as FTR and AEW, defeated the champions at the time of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, known to many fans by now as Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, and the Usos, Jimmy and Jey Uso, for the WWE Raw Tag Team Champion. The tag team of the Iconics of Billy Kay and Peyton Royce defeated the team of Aaliyah, Nia, and Lisa Lace. And then the show opened up with a 3-on-1 handicap elimination match in which Lars Sullivan outlasted the members of Lucha House Party of Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado. Lars Sullivan defeating Kalisto first, and then Lince Dorado second, and then finally finishing off Grand Metalik. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. And now, before, of course, we go, Rick, would you like to do an outro before we head out?
Sure. Well, I'm not going to share any links just because I'm going to share, say, watch for tomorrow and the next day, because we're going to have me doing a video of painting this. And I think everybody knows what it is, the Spider-Man symbol.
Yeah.
So that's going to be over 2 days. So Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
No, Tuesday and Wednesday. Sorry.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. Well, you'll still be doing your
regular stream tomorrow night. Yeah.
Your chill stream, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys will want to catch that as well.
But yeah, I've been doing paintings like this. I've done the bat symbol. I've done Superman, the S shield. So it's just stuff that I'm starting to try and do. Hopefully, as long as they sell on this Friday when I go to Art Crawl, I will continue making these videos.
All right.
Or unless they get really popular on the thing, because paint, it's expensive but not expensive.
All right. Anything more you'd like to add before we wind up?
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll wrap up as it were. All right, well, with that, guys, I thank everyone for being here. We'll be back here with more Niche News tomorrow. And, of course, this Friday we'll be looking, still don't have a co-host yet for this Friday, so I'm still working on that. But we'll be finishing up our February 1940 coverage. We'll be going through comics went on sale from Street and Smith. Shadow Comics 1 and 2, because I kind of didn't realize that they were that they had started up the previous month in January. So, but with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.